Hello, everyone. I'm Kristinetta Pack, and welcome to Tea and Magic. It's Friday, and I've got a very special guest for you today. Another amazing goddess that I know, Cornelia Aurelia. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then I'm going to have you tell everyone about you in your own words. But as the introduction, she is a certified Temple Body Artist and embodied feminine leader. She is the founder of the Sacred Self Love Sisterhood and her Falling in Love with Yourself online program for women, which sounds amazing. And you lovingly create offerings for women all around the world because your mission is to support the rise of the divine feminine. And that is incredible. But you do so much more. I just would love to hear in your own words, like, this is who I am. This is what I'm bringing to the table today, you gorgeous Leo fire goddess.
Yes, I'm definitely bringing a lot of fire today, especially with Kirsten here. I mean, that's like we're just like sending fire to each other here. And
I love that.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about my work, and I'm so passionate about really uplifting the divine feminine. And as you said already, it's not only in women, it's also in men. So I feel like the man getting really curious about this as well. And I feel so passionate about just really going more and more visible and more public, and yeah, really calling in the people that are meant to come to me. So I feel this is the perfect time. It's all so divinely aligned. And I feel very ready to, share so much more about myself. And as you said already, we met actually in the Temple Body Arts program with our mentor, Sophia Tom. And I'm still in Sophia's mentorship. I'm an ambassador now. And I also take a little bit of a leadership role in our program. So I'm still journeying with amazing goddesses from all over the world, which do temple body arts. So we really learn how to use our body as the temple of our soul, and how to listen to our body and really channel information through. So I feel like I'm really now stepping into the channel that I am, like just channeling through, and also, inviting different energies of goddesses. Like Mary Magdalene is very present for me right now. And all of this comes into my work, and it's all about love, actually. So the core is love, to share love, unconditional love, which I feel is the essence of the divine feminine. And this is my core, and this comes into all of my work, into my Fall in Love with Yourself online course, where I can support women and can really offer this transformational container where so much magic happens. And it's really, really touching. And I have never felt as fulfilled as now, where I really get to step into this leadership role and the support role for women all around the world. And yeah, I'm just so honored and blessed to be here. And yeah, it's very exciting. Sending so much love to everyone who's watching.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I don't know about you guys, but I am sitting here just feeling your vibration, just feeling this love in my heart. My whole body is just, I mean, as soon as we got on the call, I was shivering. I was like, oh, this is going to be so powerful. This is going to be so good. I am so honored to hold space for you today. Girl, I love you so much. I think that's why we met. It's like two fire signs just saw each other and we're like, hey, you're pretty amazing. And I can't wait to dive in. Before we do, I have to, of course, ask what you're drinking, because this is Tea and Magic. So tell us a little story about your tea, about the mug, if you'd like.
Yeah, actually, it's a really funny mug. It's like it's very old. I have it since I was a teenager minimum, and it's in German. It says, okay, I will say it in German just to confuse you. Ohne meinen Schatz ist alles doof. And it's like this little sheep.
So cute.
And it says like, without my love, or my precious one, my dear one, everything is like, how do you say it? Like bad, but it's kind of this goofy word. Doof is like not bad in a bad way, but kind of this like cute word for it's not good if my precious love is not here. And it says like, I'm bad, the flowers are bad, the butterfly is bad, the sun is bad, like everything is not good if my precious one, my dear one, my love is not here. So it's kind of really cute. And and the tea is what I always drink. I love it. It's ginger and lemon tea. And that's kind of my favorite. It really helps me for my digestion and to get my whole system alkaline. And it just boosts my immune system. And yeah, I drink it all the time and I love it.
Yum. Ginger is one of the best flavor. It's even the best flavor. I have those ginger candies all of the time. And I also feel that ginger, I think all plants and herbs have a special attribute to them, but I feel that ginger is very associated to fire with me. It's, it's something about it where I have it and I feel really spicy, even though it really is great for your digestion. But I feel like that just goes along with our whole fire theme for today. And I've got my cacao, which is basically the same thing. It's really igniting that flame within.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I am so excited for this journey today. I would love to start by asking you, for those people that really are just now tapping into what the words divine feminine mean. I think we hear that so much. We see it. I mean, obviously you take one look at you and it's so clear. Yes, this woman, this goddess is embodying everything that the divine feminine is. But what does that really mean? So when someone approaches you or your students begin working with you and they really have no background in this, how could you describe that energy to them?
Yeah, so what comes to me right now, and this is also where I am in my cycle, it's the mother and the lover. So it's this energy that is really very nurturing and very, loving and soft, and you just feel at home and you want to like go and cuddle and just, just feel really good and feel held and safe in the space. And it's also everything that is beautiful, like beauty and care and Mama Gaia, Mother Nature is the divine feminine. So everything where you can just lay down your guard and be yourself and just open your heart and relax and let all the masks fall and just show up in your true self. And that's for me the energy of the divine feminine. And I just love her.
And now we are in an era, I mean, you and I have been doing this for a few years now. Like you had said, in 2018, we were both in Temple Body Artist training. We both really opened up to the energies of all of these various goddess archetypes within ourselves. And I do feel that the earth at some point in 2020, people are saying this, that the earth itself, of course, is the embodiment of the divine feminine, but she raised her energy so much that now everyone is experiencing this movement to tap into that side of themselves. And I'm curious, from your point of view, how you feel and why you feel it's so important for the world at this moment in time to tap into that divine feminine energy, into the earth, into that nurturing. And also what I love that you just said is it really is being about yourself. And why is that so important right now in the state that we're in?
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good question. I love that question. It really inspires me, to that's also one of the biggest motivators and inspirational things for me about my work, is to see where we are, like to really look at the world like without illusion, where we are on a global scale right now. And it's not very funny. Like there is a lot of shit going on around the world, and we need to heal, like all these wars and the fighting and the poverty and the inequality and sexual harassment and suppression and like the fires and the tornadoes and everything that is going on, like on a global scale. I mean, I guess you and me, we are very in a very safe space, and maybe many people that are watching as well. And still, like, we have a privilege. So I feel the responsibility for myself to use the privilege that I have, all the assets and all the possibilities to support the world and all the people, all the inhabitants of the world to be able to heal. Like, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, like on a global scale. And I feel like this unity consciousness, this feeling of we can only rise and heal together. Like, if one person is suffering, like, I cannot be fully healed. I'm also suffering. Like, I have pain in my heart every day about like the world and about things that are still not right in my life and on the whole global scale. So that's why I feel like now is the time of awakening, of action, of really like speaking up, of going out there. Like, I wouldn't do it, like I wouldn't push myself so far like every day if I wouldn't have the strong cause, like to really support the healing of Mama Gaia. And that's actually, I think, yeah, my driving force. That's where I started. I was like, that cannot be, that there is so much suffering and so much devastation around the world. And I'm sitting here doing nothing, or just going to university and not really having an impact. And yeah, so that's why I feel we all have the responsibility to heal our inner feminine. And then from this place, also help heal the world, like everyone and everything. We are all one. We all belong together. We're global citizens. There is no separation anymore. Like, the time of the lone wolf is over. The time of like just me is over. We cannot do this on our own. We really need as many people as possible. And that's why I really also want to reach as many women and also men as possible. Yeah.
The time of the lone wolf is over. That is so beautiful. And it is so true. I was just talking to someone, my cousin's actually going to send me this. I'm going to post it on the group later, about the levels of awakening that we go through. And the first level is the self. And now we're moving up to the tribe. And we are really opening to seeing that our own actions, our own, I should say, unhealed actions, or things we do from a place of not being healed, can cause so much distress throughout the world. And so I love what you said about it is necessary to heal our own divine feminine. And that in turn is a great step forward to helping heal the world. And I'm curious if you don't mind sharing your personal story, because I feel that we all came from a place of trauma or experiences where we really felt like we needed to block that divine feminine. We were blocking that side of ourselves. We were hiding that side of ourselves, maybe out of fear, whatever it was. I would love to hear your story of how you sort of ignited into this cause and really worked on yourself. If you wouldn't mind sharing, if there was an event or an experience that really led you to open up your own divine feminine and walk down that path of healing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to share, like, because it's really, as you said, it's important to share these parts of ourselves, to show our vulnerability and our authenticity. Like, for me, it's really important to do that as a feminine leader, because that's how people can resonate. That's how I resonated with my mentors and coaches. So thank you for the question.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, like, I'm just going to start what comes up now. I'm not sure if it's like one event, but like what I felt right now was that I was operating in this wounded, immature masculine for a very long time in my life. Like, this kind of the norm, like in our society here. I'm in Austria, in Vienna, and I feel that's the norm where most people are operating. Even in my family, I I can see that, and it really hurts myself, like hurts my heart, but that's just the truth. So it's this like old economical structure that we're in. Like we have to like achieve something, we have to work all the time, it has to be hard, it has to be stressful, and this competitive environment. And that's for me the wounded or immature masculine energy and the patriarchy as well. So I was operating in that kind of mindset and body set for a very long time, until like I truly started listening to my heart. And I was blessed with a financial abundance through an inheritance. And this really opened the path for me to liberate myself, to be like, wow, like I have the freedom to choose. And then I went into my healing path, and I went into freedom. And I always had this kind of heartache. Like my heart was always my way sure, and my heart was like having this deep longing. Like I felt like this longing for something more. I knew this couldn't be it. Like this is my life. Like I'm just working and like trying to prove something, trying to achieve something. And like, what for? Like I started asking myself this question, why am I here in 2012? And it just started shaking everything up from the inside out. And then like one event came to the next. And I did have the blessing to always be able to tap into my heart and listen to its like whispers, even if I wasn't very aware of it. But I was led by my heart and by heartache as well. And yeah, through this financial abundance and through the freedom of choice, I was able to move in a different direction and really follow my heart's call. And for me, the heart is also it's kind of the feminine, like that. For me, it feels like it's the feminine, the divine feminine, the big heart and this unconditional love. So yeah, I was blessed to be able to listen to her. Yeah.
And at what point did you, and that's so beautiful, by the way, I want to back up and say that I believe that so many women and men really have lived throughout their lives, especially now, if we're still alive right now, with that, what we like to call toxic masculinity. It is that it's all about competition. We need to be aggressive, survival of the fittest in a physical sense. And, we can see where that has gotten our world today. It's gotten us into a very, very dangerous situation where there is oppression. There is so much suffering because of that ego mindset. And so I'm curious, that's your story. And I think so many people can relate to that, because if we lived through the 80s, like I say, we definitely lived through that materialistic, power hungry, even women had to be like men to make it survive, and that's my own story as well. Yeah. But was there a moment when you knew that you were going to be a teacher and you are going to be a mentor for other women? And I would love to hear that story of how you went from personal transformation to knowing what your soul calling was. And if you would like to tell us what your soul calling is,
yes,
please share.
I mean, it's actually very interesting. I've thought of this in the last weeks. Like, it wasn't that clear for me that I was going to work with women and have this sisterhood. It was more kind of, it came in through the back door, and it really got me by surprise and just blew my mind in the end. But where I started, like, I felt this call to work with the body and to work with yoga and to really get into embodiment. That was the first step. I always loved to do exercise. I always loved to move. I love to teach. That's what I knew. I wanted to teach, and I wanted to do something with the body. And then like it came, like these little nuggets came in. And for me, like I have this as a theme in my life that it's not very clear for me. I'm working very intuitive. and I'm gathering the puzzle pieces after they come. So it's kind of like a surprise. Like I'm like, oh yeah, and this was also, and then this and this, it came, and wow, in the end, like I'm here. That's crazy. Like, and that's kind of also the mystery of the divine feminine, how she works. Like she's mysterious and you cannot like plan. And that's why most people are quite afraid of her, because she can do things that you wouldn't expect. And then you're like, sometimes you're kind of surprised, but not in a good way, because the mind says like, but that's not what I wanted. Like I had this idea and now this came. So like, what? But like surrendering to the divine feminine is to surrender to your calling. And it was clear for me that I needed to work with women after doing the mentorship with Sophia. And it just, yeah, I surrendered actually. Actually, it wasn't my plan, but, and I had a lot of fear around it. And I had a lot of trauma as well around sisterhood and women. And so I'm like coming from this Chiron place, like the wounded healer. And I really know the place of like the wound of the darkness. So I feel like that's often a very empowering place to share from, because you know how it's like to not feel whole and not feel safe in sisterhood, because there is a lot of shadow around the wounded feminine as well. And that's kind of where we don't talk about. We talk about a lot about the shadow of the masculine, but we don't talk a lot about the shadow of the feminine. So yeah, really also acknowledging that. And here is where we come to this place of balance, like to really acknowledge the shadow of the feminine as well.
Well, now we have to talk about it, don't we? I'm flowing with you here. And I think that this is such an important conversation, because we do, as a society, we blame the toxic masculinity, but a lot of times we blame men, because we see masculinity as male, we see femininity as female. And there was such a repression of divine feminine energy, which of course we both have, which is just following our intuition, like you said, trusting in the inner guidance, trusting in the inner wisdom. But I think that many women have felt that shadow from the wounded feminine, both in men and in women. And I really want to have a conversation, because you had mentioned that you came from a place of being wounded in sisterhood. And I know many women feel when they come to this path, a lot of times it's like, wow, I never felt like I could trust women, because there was so much competition there as well. Not only was I dealing with the patriarch and that oppression of my femininity, but within the sisterhoods or the women around me, I was feeling the competition and this like vicious cycle where there are many women in this world that try to bring other women down. And I would love to hear your experience. I mean, I've had that experience my entire life. My whole life is that experience. Like, if we can sum it up, it's the patriarchy and it's dealing with the envious women that are constantly not in their healed state. And it is really difficult to deal with. But the reason I want to discuss this is because I do feel that many women go through this and they are afraid to trust in a sisterhood and to open up and become vulnerable, because a lot of times in their past that has led to backstabbing, to betrayal. And I would love to hear your story, if you wouldn't mind sharing that personal piece, because I think it's so important for other women to hear this.
Yes. Yeah, I felt that coming, and I knew you would take it and guide me to it. So
yes, you did.
We're like playing.
We were not going to get away. Once I heard that, I was like, yes, this is the conversation we really needed to have today. But I think it's so important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so important. And I'm glad that we talk about it right now, even though a piece of me, like a part of me is like, what? But it's good. As you said, it really needs to come to the surface and it needs to be faced. And like, I love to talk about these topics that no one wants to talk about, because it's like the elephant in the room, and he will be there and you will like run into him. So let's just talk about him and her. And I feel like that was even more painful than the wounded masculine, because it is so subtle and you don't even know that it's happening. And then you're like, in the end, you're like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. How could I live like this? And no wonder that I have all these traumas and all these stories in my mind, and I'm not able to trust, because like I was actually manipulated by women around me all the time. And I mean, it's a, yeah, just acknowledging that. And it's coming from far, like it's coming from far behind. It's not that one woman really wanted to hurt you. Like, even our mothers, they didn't know better, because their mothers treated them their way. And you cannot even blame anyone, because you don't know where it started, and there is no like purpose and reason to blame anyone. And that's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to shine light and find compassion for ourselves. That's why we look at these topics and why we talk about them. And yeah, the shadow of the divine feminine is in the darkness. And it is this place where women are oppressed. So they cannot speak up, they cannot say what they want, but they will get it. They will get it like through manipulation, through hints, through facial expression, like putting someone down. You don't need to say anything. You can just look at him or her the way that puts her down. For example, like a baby, like that's how babies learn. They learn from their parents. And if the mother wants like the baby to do something, the baby will learn it, and then it will just continue and be this pattern. So a lot of these wounds actually come from our mothers. And also in my life, it comes from my mother. And for such a long time, I was not able to look at that. Like, she was holy, like I couldn't touch her. I was blaming everything on my dad. Like, my dad was the bad one, and my mom was just the holy one. And that's where we put women on a podest, or on a on a stage, and they are holy, so we cannot touch them. And the men are like they are the bad ones. So, and that's a place where no movement can happen. So it's not good to have someone on the stage, because she cannot move as well. And then we're in this stuck place. So it is really by speaking and by looking at the truth to reveal all these shadow aspects. And for me, like, I am noticing more and more that there is a lot of jealousy, envy around just who I am, like this fiery, excited, passionate, sexy woman that I am. Just claiming that as well has been a journey. And like showing myself like this has been a journey. And yeah, so I didn't notice, but I was just like put down. And every time I like rose like the phoenix, the next layer came, and I was like pushed down again. So it's really only by looking at the truth that you can stay in your power. And you need to have also protection practices around that. And that's why I think I do the work that I do, because that's kind of one of my biggest wounds, because I was so vulnerable. Like, to your mother and your sister, you are like just an open book, and they can really like come in and manipulate you in all the ways, and they don't even know. Like, no one is to blame. It's just really the shadow that we need to bring into the light.
That's so beautiful. And I think, I really feel that this was the conversation we needed to have today. I could just feel it right now, that so many women need to hear this. And I love what you said, that there is no one to blame. Again, well, first I want to back up and mention, you had said it's even more difficult than dealing with men. And again, this is like masculine and feminine energy. So really, we're not talking about genders here, but in a way we are, because women have related to being feminine, men have related to being masculine. And those genders were very clearly labeled with rules that came with society, right? Like men act this way, women act this way. And a lot of what women had to go through, our grandparents, our mothers, our sisters, was that oppression of the femininity. It was like, you are not trusted to run a business. You are not trusted with power. That's a man's job. So we can't really blame women when we are all here to step out into the world and to shine, that there's a tremendous amount of fear. And that fear at times when, you know, our mothers or our sisters or our friends are afraid to shine, that fear is going to come out when they see someone else shine. And I know that this is my experience. This is my everyday. And so I really just want to hold space for you on that, that you are an amazing, gorgeous, talented, smart, intelligent goddess, sassy as fuck. And that is something to be so proud of. But it is difficult to be in a world and to maintain that power when you constantly have, I mean, the men is so obvious, like sexism and abuse, you know, you're like, okay, I'm over that. That's so obvious. But when it comes from that feminine, that shadow, and someone's not aware, it does slip in. And next thing you know, you're dimming your shine because someone's trying to make you. And so I'm curious, what type of practices do you have in place when you notice that that's happening? Like, okay, I just stepped down and feeling amazing. And the next thing you know, you're like, wow, where did that energy come from? First of all, what practices do you have in place? And then I would also love to know if, you know, do you have a conversation with that person, or how is your experience watching their journey unfold as someone that might be afraid of their own light?
Oh my gosh. Yes, that's a really good question. And it's very alive for me right now. So I'm not surprised that you asked me, because
Me too.
yeah, I mean, I'm just really stepping out there and like more and more every day. And I'm like, I need to be a warrior queen. Like that's what I'm journeying with in my online program, Fall in Love with Yourself. Like this month is about empowerment and about the warrior queen. So I'm really working on embodying my warrior queen. And it is, yeah, this warrior energy where you do work a lot of as well with your body, like strengthening your physical body to feel strong, because your body is your vehicle, is your vessel that you are moving around in. So if you feel good and strong in your body, like the energy will also not be able to like just throw you off. And that's like the first step. Really good exercise routine, like running or biking or swimming, like all that moves this cardio as well, that moves your energy and your whole system gets boosted. And like eating really healthy, like trying to not like get any toxins in your system, because all of it will weaken you. Like even sugar is really not good. And of course we're not perfect. I'm just saying what I'm trying to implement in my life, and I'm getting really better and better at it. Like sometimes, of course, if you're totally overwhelmed, you will fall back, and it happens to me as well. But like as you're like stepping more into your power, these things will fade and you will notice what is good for you. So really taking good care of your body. And then it's a lot about energy work. Since I really use energy work and I'm aware of it, I feel so much more like powerful. I feel like this really badass warrior, because it's this information that I didn't have until now and that many people are missing. So like it's this really necessary information we need to teach about energy work. Everything is energy. So if you're not aware what's going on energetically, you're like just like a car without, like with just two wheels. It's just, it's not enough to not see the energy part. So I have these breathing practices where I really just breathe pranayama, do a lot of fire breath pranayama. And also in the embodiment practices, we have like these mudras and mantras, and in dance I incorporate it. So like really just like putting my boundaries, but even with the body, like to feel that I'm safe, that I have boundaries, and like really just making fists and like everything that really is strengthening you and makes you feel like a warrior. And just like practicing, it doesn't mean that you will use it like in your daily life, but like really getting strong and confident in your body and in your whole being, in everything. And then you will notice, you will be more awake and more alert in situations. And then if something comes in, you will have this broader span where you will be able to notice, okay, that's off, that's weird. Like, what was that? It felt really strange. And then just reflecting on it after, and like even after, you can move it through this energy. Like I just had this happen lately, like, and I mean, my family is always the best teacher. Like every time I'm with them, I'm just like, I need to be prepared.
Yes.
And then sometimes I don't notice in the moment, but I notice after, and I can still process it. Regarding the conversation, it's really tricky because you cannot truly speak to people if they are not ready at all. Like it will not really lead to anything. So it's a very delicate topic. And yeah, this is like in the darkness. So I'm not really, I like at the moment I'm processing it with myself. And yeah, maybe with people where you notice that they are ready, you could potentially speak to them. But there also needs to be a really good relationship and a really good basis for, because it can flip very quickly. It's a really delicate topic.
It really is. And I do believe this goes back to that you cannot really control another person's journey, but you also don't have to take on that energy, right? So I think a lot of times with women, when someone is angry with us or someone is upset with us because they were triggered or we triggered them by just being ourselves, we tend to feel bad. I mean, that's our heart, right? Our heart is open. Our heart was vulnerable. We feel bad. And then we take that energy. Either we do one of two things. We take that energy on ourselves and we apologize as if something were our fault, or we dim our shine. And I think that that is a result, like when you said you're not really in the zone to keep your energy up. We all go through that, by the way. Like it's impossible to stay on cloud nine forever. Yeah. But to be aware of those things is like, okay, how am I feeling? And like you said, how am I feeling in my body right now? And that is such a great place to start, isn't it? So I love that you're saying that really the work is internal. It's keeping your energy up. It's doing these practices. It's knowing who you are and how much power you have. And sometimes you just have to let the rest slide. You're not condoning it, but at the same time, I think a lot of people have to understand they do not have to participate, right? And if you found that as well, that you're just like, I'm just going to cut that off and walk away. And sometimes that's the best solution.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with this like divine feminine shadow, it's really tricky. So yeah, I'm also still learning. And most of the time it's really internal work. And if you get more confident and stronger within yourself, I do believe it doesn't arise as often, because I do believe everything outside of us is a mirror. So like it's still showing you that something within you is not healed. And I mean, I'm doing this work like because this is one of my biggest wounds. So of course it will show up in my life, and I will, yeah, like heal part by part, layer by layer. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. I think I read an oracle card the other day that said, you know, if this is your life, I believe it's both of our paths is having to deal with this, that you will continue to receive people in your life that will trigger you to empower yourself. So whether you're not healed or you are healed, you will always receive those people just to see where you're at, just to test your boundaries, right? I mean, sometimes really that's what it is.
Yes.
I would love to talk about the courses that you're offering and these beautiful experiences that you're offering. I believe right now you're working with women in particular, but could you fill us in on what it is that that your sisterhood is about? What is the offering that you're bringing to the world right now? And I would love for you to just share a little tidbit of that journey. So if anyone here listening would love to join, they're sort of given this first glimpse into what it is that you do.
Yeah, I would love to share about that. Thank you for asking. So, yeah, I'm working with women. I did focus on women when I started offering all these things, and it feels actually really good to have like this audience and these women that I'm talking to. So, I'm offering at the moment like my baby right now is this online course that I just birthed like 2 months ago. It's not very old. It's actually very fresh, and I'm really proud of it. It's like I'm like totally blown away by the amount of transformation and of support that just this this birthing, like this offering that I birthed from like within can hold. And it's truly about holding space for women to have this experience and to feel safe in sisterhood. And that's the divine feminine, to hold space and to make you feel safe. So it's not that much about the content for me personally. It's about this container and this feeling of being held and being loved. And of course, the themes are like really what transformed me most in my life. So we went through these, we are going through these 3 themes. The first one was lineage healing. As I said, there's so much baggage coming from our past that we need to shine light on. So we're coming from this place of revealing the shadow and bringing it to the light and really giving thanks to our ancestors and our past. So to find these parts of ourselves and to bring them into light. And then in the second month, we went into self-love, which is, of course, my core theme, fall in love with yourself. So it's about really tapping into your divine feminine and finding this place of love within yourself, for your body. We're working also with the womb and with the yoni, so all the feminine, the female reproductive organs, which all have messages for us. So it's really powerful to tap into this place of yourself. And then now the last month is about empowerment. So it's about really harnessing this inner man, this inner masculine within yourself, and like freeing yourself from any external source. We don't need the man out there. I mean, for us women, that's really a big topic as well. Like for me it is, and I know for many women it is. Like, we don't have to be dependent anymore. We don't have to come from this place of lack. We can be whole and then meet our partner, our potential partner, on eye level, in wholeness. So that's what this month is about. Really the power, finding your inner warrior queen, speaking your truth, owning your personal power. And yeah, there is even in this month, I'm still taking women in until next week, the Wednesday. So if anyone feels the call to empower yourself, like that's the time. And it's July, it's fiery. So yeah, it is perfect alignment right now.
It's perfect alignment because we're entering that Lionsgate, right? We're entering Leo season, which is your season, and Lionsgate. Yes. So yes, everyone, those links are going to be in the video. So I just want to point that out. If you pause for a second, go to the link, check it out.
Yeah, it feels, this feels perfect right now. And I feel like I'm really also stepping into this fire and being able to offer this transformational container now for women to step into their power. So yeah, this is like my baby, the Fall in Love with Yourself course. And also additionally to this course, I offer one-on-one mentorship, especially for the women also in the program. Like if something comes up and you need additional support, you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with this theme or this topic, or I want to go deeper, then you can also work with me one-on-one and just receive like this laser mentoring and this, yeah, like it has a totally different vibe working one-on-one with someone. So I feel that's really also a very important piece. And yeah, and then last but not least, I have my group, my Facebook group, which was actually the first thing I birthed, and it is also really close to my heart. And it is called Sacred Self Love Sisterhood. And it's also the space to feel held and feel safe and feel able to express yourself authentically. So every new moon, we have a 7-day self-love challenge. So you can post every day around your self-love, what you are offering to yourself. To just have this intention, this focus really brings some different energy into your life. And there are also prizes you can win. So you have like this additional motivation if you're like overwhelmed like with your daily life and you forget or something, then you have this just additional like motivator standing there for you. So these are my 3 main things that I have as an offering right now. And I'm just, yeah, this is all so close to my heart, and I feel really blessed to be here right now to share about it. Thank you.
So honored. I love so first of all, I love your path, the path that you take people on. It's like healing those ancestral wounds, loving yourself, and then empowering. This is about empowering the divine feminine. So we talked a lot about the divine feminine and really tuning in to that inner guide, that inner intuition, and that self-love. But what we talked about in our call prior to this was what happens next. It's beautiful to sit in that place of self-love and to just be, but I think many people here are being called to discover that and then step out into the world. And that involves not only empowering your divine feminine, but empowering your divine masculine. And I loved what you said about women. We don't need men. That's not a knock about men. But I totally feel what you're saying on that. I was having a discussion the other day with a girlfriend who said she was taking another course, and the woman said, we are our own queens and kings within. And just that is, if a woman can look at herself and say, I am the king. That's what my friend said. She's, I want to be the king. I was like, we are the kings, right? And I just really love that concept. And it felt really in alignment with what you were saying. So I would love to extend that if you would share, like, what is it like once you've found that divine feminine, once you've accessed that place of love and nurturing for yourself and for the world, how is that next step possible to then, what is it that needs to be empowered to be able to fully step out into the world? What is that other piece? That king energy that we have within ourselves, that divine masculine.
Yeah. So yeah, for us women, like first it is really important to find this healed inner feminine, to be in our femininity, to feel really good. That's what my path was. I was, as you said, I was very long in this place of self-love. It felt so good. And then suddenly I was like, but that's not enough, like that's again, this, I'm with me. I feel really good. It's nice here. And then something is missing. It's like this purpose, this passion, this like action is missing. Like it was missing in my life. And I was like, it's not only about me, it's about the world and the impact that I can make. And I mean, now, as you said, there are so many women called to step into their leadership. And without your divine masculine, your inner sacred masculine, your inner man, you won't have this push. You will not take any action. You will just be in this loving, nurturing womb space forever, like the baby in the womb. Like it needs to come out at some point, and there needs to be some action, some contraction, some like friction to get yourself moving, like kicking the ass.
Kicking, ass kicking. That's what you really meant, is ass whooping.
Yeah,
That's the
Yes.
divine masculine within us. Like, I know that your pretty little self-love bubble is beautiful and it's amazing you've built this, but now I'm going to kick your ass and you need to get out there. That's really what I feel like the process
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah,
that's so, and that's
exactly.
so, a lot of women are so afraid of that. It's like, whoa, but I feel safe. Like I finally just feel safe with myself. How could you encourage women to feel safe stepping out into the world and really tapping into that other side of themselves?
Yeah. It's practice. Like just you need to do it, you know? You need to find this like or actually like for me it was to find my why and to remember my why. Like why am I doing this? Why am I here? Like I want to help heal the world. I want to be of service. I want to support. And then if this why is strong enough, you will have this extra piece of courage that will like bring you to the border, and then there is like just one step and you need to look the fear into the eye, and like the more you do it, the more you will feel how fucking amazing it feels.
Yeah.
Like it's just all this energy coming in. You're like, yes, I'm a badass, like I did it again. And then this feeling will just continue to come, and it's practice, like doing it every day. It's like recommitment, like taking the action every day, like little, like in the beginning little steps. Don't overwhelm yourself, but just like keep inspiring and keep acting, like keep looking yourself in the eye and keep looking up to these women that you find so inspiring, and let them give you this extra push. And yeah, really finding this independence within. And that's also a really good motivator, to not be dependent on anything or anyone around you, especially not your partner, because this will be a really toxic, codependent situation that you enter again. And that's not where we want to go. Like we are going into a new era, into a new age, into a new paradigm. And we need all the women around the world to come with us. And then the man will just see what kind of transformation is happening, and they will be like, wow, like we just want to celebrate you, you are a goddess. Like they will follow, like they have to follow us now. It's like kind of in this sense. Of course, in like overall, I want to meet every man on eye level. Like that's my overall, like what I want to see in the world, to be in this balanced place where we can all empower each other when we're all whole within. But right now my work is for women, so that's why I'm talking around about women. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That is a true, not only is that balance needed in partnerships, but it's just needed in life in general. Every single person that we interact with. I was just getting chills when you said they need to listen to us now. And, there has been so much, oh God, what's the word I'm thinking of? There's just a lot of times when people think of feminism, it triggers so much, especially in men, because they're like, wait a minute, I don't want to follow somebody else. And really that's coming from a place of not being healed. I mean, on either side, it's like, yes, but we've had this patriarch forever. We're not asking to go in the opposite direction and have men as slaves and, be submissive. What we're really looking at is human beings in general, man or woman, whatever it is, whatever gender. Again, it's not about gender, whatever you identify as, it's about being whole in yourself, so that you can meet the world as a whole person and not need to be dependent on anyone or anything else. And that's not a lonely place. That's actually an empowered place where, I know a lot of women are like, oh, but I can't meet a partner. It's like, well, maybe you just haven't met the right person yet that balances that out, that actually sees you at that level. And I love that you are empowering women to step into that role and to step out of codependent relationships in business, in their family, in their relationships, because it's so necessary. And I think that that is empowerment, right? That is like the epitome of empowerment, is feeling independent, but independent in a sense of being whole within ourselves. I'm really losing my voice because I've been talking so much about it. Oh, but I absolutely love that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just to end, like, because we're running out of time, but just like to really end this circle, because I felt like some women might, as you said, feel like, but then I can't be with a partner if I'm so independent and blah, blah. That's like a story that can play in the mind, but that's not true at all. Like I really dove into self-love because of a relationship that I came out that was so like toxic and imbalanced and codependent, and it broke my heart into 1,000 pieces. I really wanted to make this work, and I just could not. There was no way I was able to make that work because I was not healed. So I went into this deep journey into self-love because I wanted to be able to have this empowered, loving, awesome, amazing relationship. That was one of the biggest like catalysts for me, because I saw like there are people out there that have good relationships and that are empowering, and they are standing next to each other, like in their strength and their power, like our mentor Sophia Tom, like she and her husband, like, for example. And I saw that, I was like, okay, I need to get that shit like healed, and like I need to do something. In order to find that wholeness within me and to meet a partner in that space. So, and that's where we're going.
True love, if that's what you want to call true love, true partnership. True partnership really comes from being whole within. I think that's really what we're saying here. And that's what you're teaching women. That's what you're most likely going to be teaching the entire world. And I absolutely love you to death. If you had one final word of advice, a nugget of wisdom that you wanted to leave this group with, what would it be?
So it is 2 words. Slow down. Yeah, that's what the divine feminine really needs. She needs the spaciousness to
I feel that. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so honored, and happy birthday coming up, Leo. And I love the lion in the back for those of you that are watching this. It's so cute. I am going to leave Cornelia's links to her website. Like she had mentioned, if you want to work with her, she's got openings. Just about to start a course, which I am sure is amazing, because I can only imagine. I mean, it just sounds incredible. So you guys definitely want to join that. And then I'll put your social links as well, because you're always posting something. And I highly recommend, by the way, to sign up for her newsletter. Go on her site, sign up for her newsletter, because you will just get like a nugget of warm self-love. Every time she sends a newsletter, I'm like, oh, I just love myself a little bit more today. So all of those links are going to be there. If you guys love watching our show, please subscribe to the Magick Grove. You can go, if you're watching it on YouTube, it is my Kristen Nettopak channel. If you want to watch it live, you can go to themagickgrove.com. That is Magick with a K. And you can get our link to our Facebook group, which is basically Magick Grove. And we are here every Friday with this show, talking to people live. That way you can interact if you want to. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.